Hello everyone, thank you all for joining us for the capstone final presentation for the Acoustic and Environmental Monitoring System, AEMS team. The group of 3 students who worked on this project are me, Jehanzeb Mirza,
Junrui,
and Haoyang Cheng.
Our project was based on an idea proposed by our sponsor from the University of Alberta Faculty of Rehabilitation Medicine, Dr. Keith Fenrich.
The goal of our project was to design and implement a system to facilitate the needs of researchers interested in monitoring lab rats and their living environments. By monitoring their vocalizations, which are in the ultrasonic frequency range, we can analyze their stress level and understand their health in response to these environmental factors. Our mission was the creation of a new combined solution which can greatly simplify the process of monitoring the conditions inside lab rat cage, while also doing so at a much lower cost than using multiple individual sensors.
The expectations for our project were that through software and hardware developments, a microcomputer board-based prototype system would be created, capable of temperature, humidity, and ultrasonic audio recording through a set of sensors. A Raspberry Pi 02W would be used as the central unit to acquire ultrasonic audio, log sensor data onto an SD card on board, and communicate with a Windows app through Bluetooth Low Energy for human interfacing. The graphical user interface of the app would display real-time information and allow the user to trigger the start, stop, and setting timers for data logging and audio recording.
This is the hardware component of the project, known as the Acoustic and Environmental Monitoring Instrument, or AEMI. Our prototype unit is constructed on a simple breadboard with the ultrasonic microphone attached via USB. The system is powered over USB, which allowed using a normal battery bank for wireless use. We successfully set up the hardware connections for multiple sensors. In fact, the hardware has multiple additional components which were planned for future integration already attached, such as the real-time clock, pressure sensor, luminosity sensor, and the accelerometer. The controller app GUI is also nearly done. However, the Bluetooth connection and control interface between the AEMI and the app is still a work in progress. So, unfortunately, the complete version of the AEMS was not complete on time. Since we don't have a complete end-to-end functionality, in our demonstration part, we will try to show what the system was supposed to do based on the work we have done.
Here is our controller app in the form of a .exe file running on Windows. The background Bluetooth connection part is not fully functional yet at this point, so what we present here is still a bit of mock-up. So first we start by connecting the app to our AEMI device. It'll take some time to discover and connect depending on how strong the Bluetooth signal we get. Now they are successfully connected. As you can see here, the real-time update of these parameters are immediately available. Now if the researchers want to record all these parameters and ultrasonic waveform over a specific duration of time, we just type in the numbers here, say 5 seconds just for a quick demo, and then start by click the start button here. In real time, the timer can be set to be as many hours as the researcher wants, and once it is finished, the status bar will indicate that, and the recorded file will be saved onto the SD card.
Here, we're connected directly to the Pi over SSH to make up for the lack of communication functionality. Normally, a researcher wouldn't be using a low-level command protocol to control the AEMI unless they choose to. We're making an exception here. I'll start a 5-second recording using the command record result 5. A whole bunch of debug text flies by, and the AEMI starts executing our commands. After some time, the recording is complete, and we can type more commands.
When the researcher wants to get their record data, you can take out the SD card from Pi and plug it into their PC. The data is stored in folders on a partitional label data on the SD card. Let's grab our samples and analyze them.
Here, I load up some recording data into MATLAB for analysis. This is a recording of us jingling some keys in front of the ultrasonic microphone, and one of us banging a tuning fork. For analysis, we run a fast Fourier transform routine and plot the frequency spectrum, which has a bandwidth of 192 kHz. Here, you can see the keys have tons of high-frequency components, while the tuning fork mainly has a single peak.
So far, we are able to implement not all, but many of the requirements from the minimum design, including collecting information from the temperature and humidity sensor, and also recording ultrasonic audio. Making a GUI application also went well. The major limitations for the project were the time it took to learn new technology and set up development environment and other higher level aspects like documentation. Because we had ran out of time, many of the features in our preliminary design were left out, such as trigger mode and many other autonomous usage functionality. The significant portion which was planned for minimum design but not implemented in time was setting up the Raspberry Pi as a Bluetooth low-energy preheater. We were unfamiliar with the Linux Bluetooth stack at the time, and it took a lot of research to understand how it works. Given another week or two of the time, however, we believe we will be able to implement many other features and get the project into a much more complete and therefore useful state. If we do it well, even integration of the extra sensors we had shown should become a stronger possibility.
There are many developments needed to develop this technology to a state of maturity. As it is right now, the AEMS would first need to be developed to our preliminary design stage. However, even after this, it will still largely not be usable for field testing. One of the first undertaking required after would be to develop a housing for the AEMI, so that the electronics are separated from the animal, enabling it to be properly stored alongside them unattended in a cage. Being technology used in research, the actual applications of AEMS are still unclear. As a long-term developed project, the AEMS would need to be used in real animal studies to gauge the effectiveness of its sensor setup. Once research results has been compiled, it will become more clear what environmental aspects of the lab rats are important. Some hardware changes would be undertaken when the system is working in a stable state. Miniaturization of the system could be done by making a custom PCB, so we can integrate all components of AEMI in a much more appropriate manner. All the sensors and the board would be soldered into a PCB, so the volume of the system can be reduced to better accommodate the small space available in a rat cage.
In conclusion, our capstone project was unfortunately not successful in reaching many of its goals. Disorganization and a general lack of time budgeted towards many difficult software tasks meant that we were unable to reach our original goals in time for this presentation. However, the ideas developed and the groundwork already done still served as an invaluable teaching experience towards project management, and we hope that given additional time that we do intend to spend on it, we will eventually be able to have the AEMI completed to a satisfactory, if not impressive state. Thank you all for listening. We can now take any questions.